All righty.
What is Robert Sala, his energy on the sideline? Did the players feed off that? If so, how?
Well, he's infectious. His energy is infectious. Honestly, there's so much going on the field, and Quan's energy, and his energy, and Fred's energy, and that it's just all infectious. It's all crazy, and you enjoy it, you appreciate it, and our fans have also been great. So Salah's energy has been fantastic and phenomenal and very consistent week in and week out. Even last year, it's great they're noticing this year, but he's been like this since forever. He's just a really, really excitable guy and a guy who takes his job serious and is passionate.
You've known him for a long time. How does he balance the kind of the two sides of I'm excited in this moment, but I got to get back to the X's and O's too?
You're gonna have to ask him that. I don't know how he does it, but he does it well. I don't know how he doesn't pass out sometimes from doing everything he does, but he does a great job because every time we come back to the sideline, he has the adjustments ready. He has the scheme and everything we need to get done. He gets it done. So yeah, it works out.
From a player standpoint, does it matter to you if your coordinator, the guy who's dialing that stuff up, is upstairs or down on the sidelines with you?
It honestly it doesn't because I've had it both ways. I've had the coordinator right next to you when Chris was coordinated, Richard, and then when DQ and Gus called it, they were in the box. And Salah's on the field. So I've had it both ways, and both ways can be effective because you don't really meet with the coordinator as often because all the adjustments go through your position coach, and they all have the headsets, so everybody's making the adjustments, everybody's talking, and they're all on the same page. So by the time they get to us, each individual position coach goes through the breakdown and gets their players on the same page. So both ways are effective.
What has Joe Woods done for you guys this year?
Joe Woods has been phenomenal, and so has Daniel Bullock. They've both been great for our team and for our players, just making sure we detail. They're both incredibly detailed oriented. So when we're going over third down or red zone, they go through it in meticulous detail every single play. So we're so prepared on game day that there's rarely a play we haven't seen.
Are there things that they're doing that influence you guys, what you do from a schematic standpoint?
Not necessarily. I mean, I guess to some degree in terms of the adjustments we make in our man-to-man coverages, what adjustments we play, whether they're stacked or bunch, and some of our zones. Joe has brought some adjustments into some of our coverages that we didn't have previously, and he's put them in, and Salah's put them in seamlessly. So I guess there is some adjustments and some new things, new wrinkles that Joe's brought over.
You made a point to credit Jaquaski Tart and Jimmy Ward after the game. Obviously, they've been having tremendous seasons. Why do you think it is that they've sort of flown under the radar?
Well, people just don't want to give our defense credit. And I think it's just past experience, it's past seasons. They look at the past history of our defense and what has happened in those years, but you can't do that. Every year is different. And you got to look at each year individually. These guys are having an individually fantastic year right now, and they deserve all the credit in the world. Jaquaski Tart has been playing fantastic. Jimmy Ward has been playing lights out since he came back into the lineup, and they deserve credit. K'Wan Williams deserves a ton of credit. And I think that past experiences have changed it, but hopefully this year, when our fans and everybody in the NFL, coaches and players are voting for Pro Bowls and All Pros, and the media votes for All Pros, they'll look at our defense and pick a few guys because you don't play at this high of a level without All Pro Bowl players. It's not an aberration, it's not a mirage that this is happening. It's guys playing at a high level and competing, and they deserve the credit.
Richard, you've been relentless about, talking about your teammates. At some point in your career, did your mindset change? Maybe when you kind of arrived and it wasn't.
Honestly, it's ever since I've started to do press conferences, I've always been that kind of guy, the kind of teammate to talk his guys up. I think the first guys I've talked up was like 2012 when Bobby came in, and after 2012, I had already made it All-Pro, and Bobby deserved it. And that's all we did the whole year was talk him and Brandon Mebane up the entire year. Every press conference, I started off with, like, Bobby Wagner is having another fantastic game. He had 15 tackles, and spout off his stats. And obviously, he was a great player then. He's a great player now. But I think that's important because guys deserve it, and guys can't talk about themselves. Everybody doesn't get the platform to speak. So if you got the platform, you should use it to give the guys the attention who deserve it.
What's it like preparing for Vernon Davis now versus when, back when this rivalry with you and the 49ers was popping?
It's still serious. It's still serious. He's still a good player. He's still a guy who can take the top off defense, who can hurt you in a number of ways. So you got to give him that respect. You got to cover him. You got to keep your eyes on him. You can't fall asleep on him. He still has the speed. Obviously, back then they used him a little differently than Washington's using him, but you definitely have to be aware of him and take him seriously.
Salo was just saying that you've grown very wise in the years that he's known you. How have you put that wisdom to use, particularly with a team that's kind of experiencing winning for the first time?
I guess just use the things that I've learned over my career on the teams that I've been on from some great players. Being on a team with, like I said, Cam, Bobby Wagner, Doug Baldwin. I can name everybody. And once again, I can go down the list of great players that I play with, but they teach you how to stay in the moment, how to keep your head down and grind. The results will come. The results always come if you work hard, but being focused on the process is how you win championships, is how you get over the hump. It's being focused on the task at hand, at the process, and not the result, not the end goal. You sit there and you focus on one game at a time. You make that a championship game that week, championship game. And next thing you know, you've played, 19 championship games, and then you look up and the season's over and they have confetti coming down, But until then, you keep your eyes down, you stay focused on the prize, and you stay focused on getting better. And I think that, as Salah said, just over the years, I've learned, and being on great teams, that's the only way you can get it done. Because anytime you start sitting back and like, man, we're doing something special, you get distracted. And that's when you get hit in the mouth because you don't have time for that in this league.
You mentioned a couple times over the last couple of weeks about finding ways to motivate yourself. Consistently pointing out that maybe the disrespect you guys are getting as a defense, is that a way, too, of motivating everybody, making sure everybody's all in?
It definitely fans the flames. It definitely fans the flames. And once again, it's always about that. It's always about finding another chip on your shoulder, finding some other motivation, some slight, some gas for your fire to keep you going. And Kyle and Salah and the coaching staff have done a great job of that. Our defensive coaching staff has been phenomenal. I think Johnny and D'Amico, the linebackers coaches, deserve a ton of credit for how Fred and Quan are playing. Obviously, Coach Kasarik is getting a ton of respect, and he deserves it, as does Coach Kiff. And I think that's what you appreciate about good teams, is that everybody is working together and everybody has a role. And once everybody is appreciative of their role and unselfish, you get great product. You get great product. The moment people start being me guys and saying, "Oh, me, I got to get mine. I got to get my stats." Like, why am I? Like, it falls apart because you'll make a selfish play in the game, and then he'll fall out of the gap. Then the whole thing falls apart. And a defense like this, it's about being gap sound. It's about being accountable to your guys, and it's a very unselfish defense. You can't be selfish. Now your stats will come. If you're just in the right place at the right time doing your job, but you can't hunt them. You can't hunt for them. You can't go out there and like, man, I got to have 4 sacks this game. You got to get them within the scheme, because if you do that, you're going to let 10 other guys down. If you go out there and you're selfish, you're going to let 10 other guys down, and then you're going to let 52 other guys down. And so I think that's a great testament to our coaching staff and our players, is that they're playing very unselfishly, and that's why this success is coming.
We've covered almost everybody else. I've got a Parag Marate question. Did you know much about him before you negotiated with him, and what was that experience like?
I didn't know a ton about him. Obviously, I got to know him as we negotiated and had conversations, and I had conversations with him throughout my career now. But he's been great. He's been great at doing deals and keeping his team together and making sure, some people have great experiences with him, some people have not so great experiences with him. But my experience is fine.
Tough negotiator?
I guess it depends on how you call it. He stands his ground as well as other people stand their ground. He'll move on certain things. He won't move on certain things. So I think he's fair.
Forrest was talking about that unselfishness yesterday, and Solomon, he had that great game on Sunday after he's had some limited snap counts, and it seems like it's been a conscious front office decision to bring in guys that, like you said, don't really have those egos. How valuable is that for a defense?
It's essential. It's essential. It's an essential part of this defense. It's an essential part of great defense, is being unselfish, because selfish people can't play great defense because you're worried about self. You know what I mean? And great defense is worried about the whole. One person does not make a great defense in this league. It takes 11. And so it takes DNs knowing that at times you're going to have to drop into coverage. At times you're going to have to just take on double teams all day and night. It's going to take corners to know, hey, sometimes you're going to come up and you're going to have to stop the run, and you can't stop it at 9 yards, at 8 yards. You're going to have to make a decision and stop it at 2 and get him down. You're going to have to put your big boy pads on and make those kind of plays. It takes linebackers being able to cover. And it just takes so many people stepping out of their comfort zones and out of their elements and sacrificing for others. At times there's corners taking on 300-pound linemen and turning the ball back so that a linebacker can make a tackle. But those are the decisions you have to make when you care about the person next to you and you really want to play great defense.
Excuse me if you've answered this already, but before the goal line stand, you made an excellent tackle right at the 1 yard line.
I appreciate that.
Could you take me through that play, what you saw, what your mindset was?
Well, it's a play that a lot of teams run near the goal line because it puts a lot of strain on the corner. It was a bunch formation. I believe they brought the receiver inside, and then the entire line kind of pushes down. It's like everybody down, and then they hand it to the running back, and he pops out, and it's either he'll bounce it or he'll cut it up inside, but it's a one-on-one tackle between the corner, and if you don't get him down, it's touchdown. If you get him down, they'll probably come back and run it again until they have the success they want. But thankfully, I was able to get it down, and that's, once again, what I was talking about. It's about everybody doing their job. On that play, they came down and cracked down on KK, and once they crack down on KK, I have to trigger and make the play because they're also cracking on Tart. So they're blocking Tart, they're blocking KK, and I'm the only person that can make the play. And if I'm sitting back and I'm just like, oh, man, I'll let him get a 5-yard gain, it's a touchdown. But if I shoot my gun and make a decision and put my body on the line, then we can stop him.
Couple more guys.
Do you know, or did you have any idea what happened to your shoulder? Did you know, oh, this is just a stinger, or you're like, oh, crap, what just happened?
No, I didn't. My whole arm was numb from my shoulder to my fingertips, so I had no idea. I knew I couldn't lift it. It felt, I've had stingers before, and stingers have never gone that far down my arm, so I had no idea. I was trying to shake it off as quickly as I could, but it took a while.
What was your impression of the Jalen Ramsey trade?
It seems like they gave up a lot for him, and it's going to be great for him because he has a lot of leverage, and I wish they would try to not pay him at this point. give up 2 first-rounders and and we're going to play hardball in these negotiations. Back up the Brinks truck to his house and then call him when you're done.
Sorry if this has been asked before I came in, but Joe Woods, you mentioned him after the Cleveland game. What has he brought to the table that this defensive backfield didn't have last year?
He's just brought. I mean, it's not that we didn't have something. He's brought experience. He's been coaching for 23 years, and he's just brought different techniques, different ways to play things, different adjustments in terms of man coverage and zone coverage, different ways of speaking about the coverage. Obviously, Jeff Hafley was a great coach, and he's doing great at Ohio State. So that's not a shot and to take anything away from him. But he's just been incredibly detailed about technique. Just and regardless of scheme, not even schematically, take scheme out of it, he has his working technique every single day and night. We're gonna get out there, we're gonna get into individuals, and we're gonna work technique until the cows come home, and that's why the technique is a lot tighter.
All right. Thanks, Richard.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.